You're out here promoting a movie
Yes, I
rather
am.
rather than a record.
Yes.
What's the difference? Is there a difference?
Maybe not. I mean, right? It's a kind of a documentation of an event.
Is it, oh my God, there's my 90 minutes of my life up on a big screen. I'm sitting in a movie theater in Sundance with a lot of peers and a
Right,
lot,
right.
like what's it
You
like?
know, I wasn't sure what to envision, but I'll tell you, I went on that emotional journey when I watched the film. I was elated, and when the band broke up, I felt the sense of depression that I felt at that time. Maybe it's just because that's me and it's triggering stuff, but I really went on that emotional journey, and I was a little teary at the end. And so I don't know if that was just me seeing it, but a lot of people had very similar reactions. They felt that emotion and they were touched by it. One person commented on, I suppose they expected it to be an expose on my nightlife or something. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. That's like so boring, number one. Number two, it's like insignificant. And really, most of that stuff was long, long ago. I mean, you know what it's like,
Of
man.
course.
It's so hard to be on the road, and it's work, and you bust your balls, and you're tired as shit, at least for me. And the last thing I want to do at the end of the night is go hang out with anybody or go do much of anything except, go get ready for the next day.
Did it set you up better having to take the path down the Runaways movie? Was it about 8 years ago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Did that prep you for this, or do you look at them as two complete different entities?
Yeah, I think I look at them as pretty much two different entities. If anything, it set up maybe the public a little bit better for the Runaways to hip a certain audience that is knows who Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson are from Twilight, and sort of introduced me to a whole new bunch of people that stuck. That sort of turned people on, and that was definitely cool.
Tell me one thing before we move on from the Runaways. You were pulling the band more in a punk direction, and subsequently Lita tried to pull the band more in a maybe metal direction and a heavier direction.
Yeah, well, I think really after Cherie left after Japan, we made another what I thought really good album called "Waiting for the Night," and I just think it was a natural progression. I think as we each grew up and were figuring out more who we were as musicians, and really, I guess the kind of music we wanted to play, it started to diverge a little bit. I was definitely more in a straight up punk rock and roll thing. But I mean, I'm fine with hard music. It's just that I think Lita and Sandy wanted to go in that direction much more than I did, and the producer we were working with at the time, his name was John Alcock, and I think he was sort of perpetuating it, egging it on a little bit, but I don't know that.
Sure.
I just thought, I got a bad feeling. I don't want to get fired from a band that I started, and we'd made one more album called "And Now the Runaways," but we just decided to sort of part ways. I'm sure, none of us wanted to. We all got along fine. So, I mean, there wasn't anything like that.
So it
where we
wasn't a
didn't-
personality
no,
thing so
no,
much.
it was not a personality thing. So we just grew in different directions. And I just thought, I don't want to get fired from a band I started. Let's just part ways.
I Love Rock and Roll. It has an interesting backstory. You heard the song while you were on tour in England. I
Yes.
think there was the Arrows.
Yes.
Was it one of those like, oh my God, drop what I'm doing? This song's on television, and one day I'm gonna put that in my arsenal. Or what was that moment like?
I don't know that it was a drop everything, oh my God, but it was definitely I know that they made a point of saying that this was the Arrows B-side. So I was hyper aware that this was a song that wasn't the focus at all. And they played the song, I Love Rock and Roll, and I thought, wow. that's not an A-side. That sounds like a hit to me. So I just thought, that's catchy. I'm gonna go buy it. I was probably already thinking for us to cover, but we had also, the album before, covered Lou Reed's Rock and Roll. So some of the girls, which I totally got it as well. We didn't want to do another song with rock and roll in the title so soon after the other one. So I just held on to it because I thought it was a great song. And
But there was a pit stop along the way before you did the version that became the hit, where
Yes.
you did a version with Steve Jones and Paul Cook.
yeah, definitely.
What was it like to work with the Sex Pistols?
It was great. It was great. I was such a fan, of theirs, and they were nice guys. We had a good time. Went in and recorded these songs, and to be able to play with Steve's really iconic guitar sound, it was for me was a blast.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 2014. Nirvana's being inducted, and you sing with them. It Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
So the first time that the three members, including Pat, who you obviously have a relationship with
Yes.
from back in the Germs days, and the first time they're playing together since Kurt's untimely death, you got to walk me through just how did that come about? What's going through your mind as this is happening? I need to know more about this particular thing. It's mind-blowing.
I'm trying to remember how they asked me, because the actual thought of that was another petrifying thing, right?
I can only imagine.
Can you
yes.
imagine? But how can you say no?
Of course.
You can't.
It's like dare, right?
So it is a dare. It was a total dare. But you have to do it. You have to hope the rock and roll gods are with you that night,
And then Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 1 year later, it's your turn to finally get inducted. And Miley Cyrus gives one of the
Yeah.
all-time classic speeches that only she can do with her personality and her language and
Yes.
her whole vibe. Did you know what your story had meant to her over the last few years? Did you have a relationship before?
Yes, I had met Miley a few years prior to that. We met to do an Oprah segment that I think it was three people bringing out their women heroes who they looked up to, and I was Miley's.
So you had two Rock and Roll Hall of Fames, 14 and 15, where you sort of stole the show. I mean, that's pretty crazy. That must have felt like
Another vindication.
Yes.
Of it all, really, definitely. And I still have to thank Chris really for getting me in there, because, he made it very obvious that I wasn't in yet when Nirvana was up there. They put on the pressure, so can't take total credit.
Thank you so much, Joan, for coming.
Keep rocking. We'll see you down the road.
Right back at you.